Please be advised that everything in my video is purely for entertainment purposes. These are purely my thoughts and opinions and are subjective. I must advise you to please do your own research. All media users found on the public domain and are fair use and fair dealings. Hi guys, happy Tuesday. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. As most of you know, if you've been following me. Hi, if this is your first video, please remember to hit the like and subscribe button. And for those of you that have been with me forever, know that I went camping. We upgraded our tent and it is amazing. We've got our own living space area, a lovely sized bedroom, wardrobe area as you can see. This was obviously when we just packed. Normally it looks like my suitcase threw up after about 24 hours. But we just chilled out, relaxed. I built lots of fires because I am the fire queen. My husband struggles to light them and I just grew up in a house with a fireplace, so I know my stuff. And I don't use firelighters. So this was more of a relaxing camping trip. We just mainly chilled out, ate lots of food. I did a lot of camping prep this time, nice breakfast and things. And then we went to a pub to go have a nice pub lunch. There's lots of fields that back onto, you're basically smack bang in the countryside. This is on the outskirts of East Grinstead, a place called West Hoathly. And if you like the look of it, it's actually called Evergreen Farm Camping. And it's wonderful. You do get sheep, however, waking you up at 6 a.m. with a lot of bear. Yeah, I'm quite good at doing a sheep impression. But yes, so it starts around about 5-6 a.m. So as long as you take earplugs, and I'm a bit of a princess, I don't only have earplugs, I have a big eye mask as well because I don't like daylight. Not when I'm waking up in a tent, definitely not. Right, I hope you got your cups of tea ready or your vino, whatever tickles your fancy. Let's get on to talking about the royals. Today, we're going to start with Lady Louise. Now, Lady Louise has just been called out by the media, which I think is a bit naughty. And she's actually had a part-time job over summer working in a garden centre. As you know, the Wessexes are generally quite a private family. This was obviously not made well known. She's the Queen's granddaughter after all. But this is why I find it weird that the media decided to do the story. I'm hoping that she's already left the garden centre because it could have turned into a bit of a security issue because you never know what sort of weirdo stalkers are around really, especially when it comes to the royal family. I mean, she's only just 18 years old, you know, and they're quite a private family. She comes across as a very sweet girl and possibly a bit shy, and it would have been really, really unnecessary if the media did cause that sort of fanfare. But she's turned into such a wonderful young woman as she's growing up. She hit her A-levels and she is going to St Andrews, following in her cousin's footstep, Prince William, and then of course the Duchess of Cambridge, Catherine, because that's where they fell in love. Ah. So moving on, this is a kind of a princess story. She's not royal, but she is a little princess. She won the nation's hearts, and that is Mila Snedden, who got to finally ring the bell when she ended her cancer treatment. She has become a well-known face and her family have used social media to raise so much awareness and fundraising. Mila doing fundraising herself for childhood cancer. The Duchess of Cambridge got a real soft spot for Mila during the Hold Still photography competitions. Little Mila, due to the pandemic, was separated from her father for 7 weeks, and there was a short video that was released of when she was reunited with him, and I don't think there was a dry eye anywhere. But Mila has been such a trooper, such a star, such an amazing child, one of the many children that go through so many things. And I just wanted to give her a big shout out. It was her first day back at school and her first year of where she didn't have any more treatment. So the Duchess of Cambridge and Prince William obviously sent her a letter and wished her luck on her first day at school. And Mila's story and how she's bonded with the Duchess of Cambridge is beautiful. I'll always remember when she asked the Duchess of Cambridge when they met to wear pink, and Catherine did, and she looked absolutely fabulous. Just a really lovely family, and as I said, I love the bond that Catherine obviously has with her. So Mila is definitely one of the nation's princesses for sure. Now, speaking of Catherine and William, we have got Adelaide Cottage. They are moving. We knew this anyway, but it's now official. So people have been stirring the pot. Omen Scobie, of course he has. He's like a little man witch with his cauldron and a big wooden spoon. And he's bringing up about the fact that they've got Kensington Palace, they've got Anne Hall up in Norfolk, and it's just him literally stirring a pot, which he should not be stirring for the simple fact, one, go away, you little pipsqueak. But mainly it's because of he is the mouthpiece for the Sussexes, and they are doing extravagance to the modern style of Marie Antoinette, aren't they? I mean, it's to the absolute extreme. But yeah, so he's stirring it up, and Meghan's mole actually made a very good point where she pointed out the fact that, hang on a minute, 2.4 million was spent on Frogmore Cottage to renovate it. Meghan spent, I think, 1 million to 2 million over the course of 2 years on a wardrobe and jewellery, and that was for 72 days of engagements. Not full working days, I'd like to point out. Over the 2 years, less than 2 years she was with the royal family, 72 events she attended, and she blew that much money on clothes. She's notorious for it. And then, of course, when we get to the £32 million taxpayer-funded wedding, which was just a spectacle for the world, which the UK public aren't going to forget anytime soon, unlike them who seem to forget when it was they actually did get married. So when you take that all into account, I think Omid needs to put that spoon down on this one particular subject. But anyway, the couple, the royal couple, the real royal couple, William and Catherine and their 3 children are moving to Adelaide Cottage. It is in the Windsor estate. It is literally a stone's throw from the Queen where she lives in Windsor Castle. They wanted to do this to be near her, bearing in mind she's obviously lost her husband, she's getting elderly, she's reducing her duties. She's technically running her court now from Windsor. People come to the Queen now rather than the Queen going to them. And at 96 years old, fair play to her. I would have probably said that years ago. But given the property is inside Windsor grounds, it doesn't need renovating. That's one of the reasons why they picked the property. They're smack bang next to Windsor Castle, so all of the security, they're not going to have to pay, the taxpayer will not have to pay for increased security for the couple. The children get a lot more privacy there than they did at Kensington Palace. And yes, they are still keeping Kensington Palace, but they don't have Kensington Palace. It's not theirs. They've got, obviously it's going to be a swanky apartment, isn't it? But they're going to use it as their base when they meet dignitaries, when they meet people coming over to the UK. You know, it's going to be a formal business residence that their offices are run out of. Yes, they're keeping Anma Hall as their summer home. But let's be honest, they've got more money than the average Joe. So, I mean, I know plenty of people that have got a summer home out in Spain, or they've bought, you know, they've got a timeshare somewhere. I've met people that actually are lucky enough and they've got a separate place down near the coast. My summer home is my tent and our garden. So, you know, but I'm working class, so there is a difference there. But it's just a big hoo-ha. Let's beat up the Cambridges again. Oh, how could they do this with the cost of living crisis? They're downsizing their house that they're going to live in. Their nanny is going to have their own property. But it's just the same people, isn't it? It's the same with Republican people and stuff like that. They're just stirring it up. And all I can say is we need to just flick them like an ant at a picnic. Don't click on the articles and go, boop. Don't flick ants. Actually, I like ants. Now, where I was going through social media, I saw a post recently pop up and I was not aware of the story, and it was so lovely, I've decided to share it with you. And that was the Queen gate crashed a person's wedding with Prince Philip. Yes, true story. It was so adorable. I read into it last night and I was not aware of this, but back in 2012, I think it was the Queen's, one of her jubilees, the Diamond Jubilee, and Francis and John Canning had pre-booked their wedding at Manchester. I think it was their town hall. Anyway, they got a phone call from the staff one day advising them that the venue was going to have a VIP there as well. They then found out that it was actually going to be the Queen and Prince Philip who attended a luncheon. So John Canning decided to write almost, you know, a polite but tongue-in-cheek letter to the Queen, to Buckingham Palace, basically saying, if you've got a spare few minutes, pop in and say hi, we'd love to see you. Not expecting to receive anything back, but the Queen's lady in waiting wrote to them and said, we're terribly sorry, but the Queen is unable to attend. She's got other prior engagements. But the letter alone, the couple said, was just really cool. The fact that the Queen had read it was just amazing. But anyway, their big day came and the Queen just rocked up. She and Philip came over and said hello. They posed for a photograph. Can you just imagine the amazingness of sharing this most wonderful day, one of the best days in a person's life, with the Queen and Prince Philip? Apparently Philip was chatting away, asking them what they were doing for their honeymoon, and the Queen wished them the best of luck. But there's just something about that, the fact that the Queen deliberately turned around and said no, she wasn't going to go, and then she surprised the couple. And it makes me love her all the more.
Now, you're probably wondering why was I on social media looking at anything to do with weddings? Well, those of you that haven't heard, Harry and Meghan reportedly are renewing their wedding vows after just 4 years. Yes, it's caused a fair bit of speculation. Is this like, you know, when people, I know I hate the term and I'm going to say it here, but the bandage baby, you know, the marriage is dissolving, the couples aren't getting along. Let's have a new baby because that will keep us together. Let's renew our wedding vows. And it seldom works. I mean, Angelina and Brad were together how long? They got married. And wow, that's turned out to be one of the nastiest divorces ever in Hollywood, I think. But something tells me when Meghan and Harry split ways, they might actually look like they're on friendly terms. But yeah, so they're renewing their vows. They've decided that they want to do it their way, American style, if the reports are to be believed. Lily and Archie, their children that they are keeping absolute, you know, privacy for them for their entire lives, will have main centre roles. So I think this whole wedding is one, if it's true, everyone can see that Harry is really miserable lately. He's lost everything that was once him. He's pulling away from her. Meghan's double grabbing him. It's really desperate and it's almost painful to watch, to be honest with you. But then it's always been painful to watch how she paws him like she is a starving tiger trying to get at a gazelle. You know, it's hands grabbing everything. It's any amazement that she hasn't pinned into the floor and wrestled him to hold his hand at one point.
Perhaps Harry is beginning to slowly pull away from her and Meghan is wanting this wedding to just reinforce her grip on him.
But the main reason why I think this is being done is it's because they're not popular in America. But Meghan is going to use this as a celebrity mixer. She's seen the big J-Lo and Ben Affleck wedding, £8 million wedding. I mean, it's their money. I can't begrudge anyone that's rich. They can do what they want with their money. But I just think 8 million. I mean, I think it was her 4th wedding. And yeah, okay, have a lovely wedding. But 8 million is just grotesque to me that you could do that on something that's just for one day. But I can see Meghan using our child donations and stuff. All these people that think that they're giving to all these charities and causes that are, you know, close to Meghan's heart. Chanel, Givenchy, Dior, because we know that's really what's the closest to her heart. But it will just be a magazine cover. But she's gone so far down this kind of, it's snakes and ladders, and she has worn one big snake going down. The fact that she literally in 2018, this is four and a half years ago, married a prince in the United Kingdom in one of the hugest weddings seen around the world. And now she's going to have a vow renewal after 4 years, a celebrity kind of OK magazine job. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. It's the only reason why I could think she could be doing it, because 4 years, I literally got married to my husband 2 months before Harry and Meghan's wedding. And I mean, we've spoke about would we renew our vows one day. So it would be lovely. We could do it just us two on a beach like we wanted, because we wanted to elope. But unfortunately, family don't really tend to like that idea. But yeah, we thought about it. But 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, you know, that's when there's like a lot of romance still there. The marriage has got past the 7-year itch for a start. But I just find it just tacky, if I'm honest. And that's not because I'm attacking Harry and Meghan. It's their personal business. It's their marriage to do as they please. But it's not about marriage. It's not about love. It's going to be about a celebrity mixer, getting their faces in the magazines. And if the children are going to have these starring roles, I thought you didn't want them to grow up in a fishbowl. So swiftly moving on from the couple's 3rd wedding that they'll be having, we have to talk about the fact that Harry did a secret. Remember, everything's a secret, but there's a press release to announce it to the world across social media with lots of post photographs where they took a Netflix crew and photographers, but it was a secret visit to Mozambique and Rwanda. Harry was there because he's held a position since 2017 when he was a full-time working royal for African Parks. Now, this is not all of African Parks. African Parks is a non-profit organisation that manages long-term rehabilitation of protected areas in partnership with local communities and governments. Harry is reportedly there in a role, official capacity, as some of the media has reported and Omid Scobie announced. He was hosting Senator Chris Coons and a few other US delegates that are out there. But as the photographs tend to show, they've so far refused to have their photographs taken with Harry. Harry's not in any of the joint group ones. Harry's turned up to places. There was a memorial for the Tutsi tribe that were mass murdered. And, you know, Harry turns up there after the delegates and families have been there. So people are now beginning to speculate, is he literally running around and stalking them, making sure, no, don't forget me, don't forget me. There's a bit of me, because they are a Democrat, because Chris Coons is a Democratic senator, and we know that Harry and Meghan are very much in with the Democratic Party, that Harry is actually touring around with them and he can't have joint photographs with them because obviously it's really him messing with politics. And whilst the royal family aren't seemingly doing anything about Harry going into politics, it is definitely upsetting our American friends. So maybe Harry is just trying to keep his head below the parapet when it comes to that. But it doesn't matter whether he's keeping his head below the parapet with Americans, because Africans are not particularly happy with Harry taking up a prominent role. And I think that a lot of them have made a very good point here. Harry does not live in Africa. He does not work out there. Why not give it to someone, a prominent position like that, who is African, who does spend their days actually saving animals and working alongside governments and actually putting the legwork in, rather than a spoiled rich kid prince living off a trust fund, moaning to TV hosts whenever he gets an opportunity that his daddy cut him off at 36 and he only had 40 million to live off of, living in a 16-bathroom mansion in California, catches private jets like people catch Uber, comes over for a photo op every so often, and he is the one that's representing African Parks. Everyone knows that these charity trips that they're doing, this trip to Mozambique and Rwanda, the posing for photographs, it's all to do with Netflix. This is all about them trying to buffer together enough coverage to actually get this Netflix documentary done, because they want their pound of flesh, they want their money's worth. So that might be a reason why Senator Chris Coons, plus all of the other people with him, actually avoided having their photographs taken with Harry, knowing the stink that it might eventually cause. Now, not to be overshadowed or to let her husband have any sort of limelight by himself, Meghan clearly didn't go with him, but that was never going to stop her. Meghan has had photographs leaked of her on a private Zoom call, and she had natural hair, she had her mother Doria one side and Archie on her lap. Again, it's all contrived, isn't it? Why would Meghan be showing Archie's face on camera when they want him to be protective? Was Harry even aware? This is Meghan that is like NDA, security obsessed. What, she's just going to go and speak to one of the Sussex squad and just expect them not to excitedly take pictures or screenshots. You know, it was just all such a big surprise. Where's that word that we learnt on the other video? Yes, bollocks. I don't believe it for a bloody second. I think it was set up by the fact she's got her mum with her, she's got Archie with her. She is just so see-through that she just manipulates people, and it's so obvious. She was never going to allow Harry to have some coverage in the news without her being there. So I think it was possibly payback the fact that she wasn't allowed to go. She was never going to let Harry have that moment to himself, was she? It was like, you know, with the UN, she was all over him, jumped in front of that photograph. Harry's getting some coverage without her, and then this magically gets leaked. Just when the last time Harry was on his own, Meghan got captured walking Archie to nursery. Then she got captured back in Canada when Harry was in the UK. She cannot help herself. Now, speaking of this, Meghan's speech that she'll be giving at the One Young World Summit, where she is classed as a counsellor. I mean, that's just offensive to counsellors and people that train and are qualified. But the seats are being listed from 1,000 to 3,000 £1,000 to attend. This is supposed to be for young leaders around the world from poor countries to attend. There's something supposed to be like 32% of them are going to be there on scholarships. But that's still bloody disgusting. That's without flights, without accommodation. And Harry and Meghan are part, well, Meghan is part of that can justify that. What, they're going to get on stage and talk about poverty and equality while charging people £1,000 to £3,000 to fill seats. That's truly disgraceful. And you know that Meghan will make sure that there are bottoms on all of those seats if she has to buy seats herself for her fan club. I guarantee you there is bound to be Sussex Squad members there. There is absolutely no way that Meghan is going to allow that auditorium to be empty like it was for Harry's UN speech. There is no way her ego will allow it, but also the fact she's now at that discarding stage, I think, with Harry, where she has to prove that she's the popular one. People are just there to see her. Now, to finish up, we're going to have some Cambridge news, that little bit of a palate cleanser for you. There was a short video clip released on social media, but I'm not playing it because I find it a little bit intrusive. Here's a screenshot though, but Catherine, the Nanny Maria, Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis have all arrived in Scotland to spend time with the Queen at Balmoral. Guess what? They flew commercial, no private jets for them. And obviously they'll be meeting Prince William and Prince George there. I think there's possibly some new rules in place now that George is older about the family obviously having to arrive at destinations separately. So what with the big news of Catherine and William moving to Adelaide Cottage, the children, all three children, are going to their new school starting in September. We also have Prince William going to New York to actually speak to a packed auditorium with the UN General Assembly to talk about the Earthshot Prize. And Catherine will be joining Swiss tennis star Roger Federer for the Lava Cup. I knew enough really trumped that line then. Roger Federer for the Lava Cup. There we go. So it's going to be an action-packed couple of months. I will be here, of course, and I will be bringing you the news as it comes to me. I will talk about the good. I will talk about the bad. I will talk about the desperate and the fame-hungry. So I will be back with you guys really soon. In fact, I'm filming again tomorrow because I want to talk about Harry's latest revenge. He just keeps going on and on and on like a broken record. So I will see you very soon. Bye.
If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love, Taz.